Hello again. Today, in this Pathfinder video, I'm going to be going over how to build a fighter. I'm not going to get super far into specifics, but this can give an example of how to actually put things on the character sheet and also explain a little bit about the fighter class. Alright, so let's get to it. So first off, if you have the books or if you have the online resource, you're going to have to pull up fighter, obviously. So once you do that, you'll see the first thing you should see is they have a hit die of D10, an alignment of any. So that means you have a lot more freedom with like these type of characters. Even with the broad alignment, you can play however you want. But the D10 is a very good hit die. The highest one possible is a D12 with a Barbarian, and with also a Blood Rager, but that's hybrid class, and I'm mostly just going to cover core for now. Alright, so the fighter's skills are climb, craft, handle animal, intimidate, knowledge dungeoneering, knowledge engineering, profession, ride, survival, and swim. And you also see that they have 2+ int modifier skills per level, which means, as I explained in previous videos, if you have an int of 10, you only get 2 skill points per level. So the next thing you're going to see is there's going to be a table. This is going to tell you what you get at every level, so we'll just say at level 1 for now. You start with a 1 BAB, they're a full BAB class. So we'll put 1 in the BAB on the character sheet. Next, fort save. They get +2, but 0 to the rest. And their special ability is a bonus feat. Now, this is where the fighters specialize. They get a feat every level, because every even level, the bonus feat will kick in. Every odd level with the normal feat. And if you pick human race, you get 3 feats at level 1. That's huge. A lot of people love human race just because of that. And for that, that's all we need for level 1, besides the attributes and the skills. So we'll kind of look at attributes real quick. I mentioned in my first video that you can go to Google, type in Pathfinder point by, or point by calculator. Alright, I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. Alright. So we're going to click Standard Fantasy 15 point by. That's going to be in most games anyway. Select race. I'm going to go with human. Humans get +2 wherever they want. Since I'm playing a fighter, I'm going to put that into strength. Alright, so at the bottom of I'm using the jodywhite.com point by calculator, by the way. So if you use this, first off, we'll look at the points. At the very bottom of this calculator, it will tell you 15. And as you put points into each of these scores, it will deduct it at the bottom so you know how much you have left. So I'm going to start off with the 15 in strength. Plus my 2 from racial, put me up to a 17. Gonna bump my dex up to a 14. Gonna bump my con up to a 12. And I'm gonna put 1 point into actually, let's just put it into con as well. Bumped up to a 13. So right now I have a 15, 14, a 13, and 3 10s. Now with the modified, it's a 17, 14, 13, and 3 10s. So we're going to transpose that onto our character sheet. You'll see the 17 strength has a 3 modifier, 14 has a 2, The 13 con has a 1. The rest with a 0. Alright, since you're playing human, we'll move on to the right. You have a D10 dice. So, since we have 2 con modifier, that's 12 HP off the bat. Plus humans, every level get a bonus skill point and a bonus hit point. So right away, we already have 13 HP. Very good at level 1. Our initiative is going to be 2 with our dex. Our speed on the farther right, 30. Alright, now looking back at skills. So we got 3 to spend because we're human. I'm going to put my first one into ride. Very useful skill, especially if your character ends up on horseback. My second one, I'm going to throw into, let's say, handle animal. Handle animal is also for like controlling like a horse-drawn wagon. You're not actually riding the horse, you're controlling them. Next, I'll put my last point into, let's put into survival. Now bear in mind that these points I'm putting in don't really have any huge reflection on whether it's good for the class, whether it's bad for class. I'm just doing this as mostly an example. So alright, so on your skill side we'll fill in all the spots with the ability modifiers. We're only going to be going up in strength modifiers and dex modifiers. Everything else is going to be 0. If you want, you can always just leave them blank. You don't have to waste time writing a 0 in every spot. And the 3 ranks I just said, you put those in the appropriate slots and add the +3 class bonus. Alright, next we'll go over to our saves again. We already have the 2 base save on fort, but now we have an additional 1 in con. We have 2 dex for our reflex and 0 in will. You can also go up to AC. We have 2 dex, put that in the dex modifier for AC. Languages, we just know common. That is it. Alright, further down, where BAB was 1, we'll fill our CMB and our CMD now. So 1 BAB, we got a 3 strength modifier, so that's 8. Our CMD, on the other hand, is going to be 1 BAB plus 3 strength plus 2 dex plus 10. So, oh wait, did I say 8? Sorry about that. Our CMB is going to be 4. I don't know where I got that number from. So 4 CMB and 16 CMD. Next, we kind of have to choose equipment. Go back to the character, the fighter page. You start off with, I usually like players take the average, the 175 gold pieces. The next thing to do would be to use your reference whatever you're using. I use Masterwork Tools most of the time. If you use that, go to Ultimate Equipment, Arms and Armor, and we'll start with weapons. Now I'm just going to build this guy fairly simple. Going to take a longsword, 15 gold pieces, 1d8 damage, 19 to 20 times 2 crit, only weighs 4 pounds. Fairly simple weapon, and since it's one-handed, next thing we'll look at is armor. But since I took that longsword, you can wield it with 2 hands or 1 hand. 2 hands, the damage on it will go up by 1. So you always round down, but so it's 50% of my 3 which will be rounded down 1, so 4 damage from that. I think I skipped a step there, sorry about that. So the 1d8 damage plus your strength modifier, which is 3. Wounding it two-handed, you get bonus 1. Otherwise it's just 1d8 plus 3. Like I said, since it is considered a one-handed weapon and only 1 damage, it's not going to make a huge difference, but it can in some situations. But I'm still going to bring a shield. So let's take a heavy wooden shield. This will be on arms and armor. Go down the shield section. Heavy wood is 7 gold pieces. Gives you a +2 shield bonus, -2 armor check. We don't care about spell chance failure. We're a fighter. Weighs 10 pounds. Next, we'll look at actual armor. I prefer medium armor most of the time, plus heavy armor is ridiculous cost. So, let's see here. We can start off with a scale mail. Only 50 gold pieces, +5 armor. -4 penalty though. One thing to note about this is your movement will drop down to 20. And that's fine. 20 speed, it's going to be okay in combat. Now, I like to also grab a secondary weapon. So let's go back to weapons real quick. And let's look at the ranged options. I'm a pretty big fan of the bows, so we'll look at ranged. Alright. So, longbow is going to be 75 gold pieces. It's a little pricey, so I'm going to go with the short bow at the start. It's 1d6 damage, 30 gold pieces, and the crit is going to be a ×3, which means if I roll a natural 20, then roll again and beat the enemy's AC, I do 3 times normal damage. Keep in mind for ranged weapons, you do not add any modifiers in, it's just 1d6. Later on, when we can afford it, we will get a composite bow, then we get to add strength in. We'll also buy some arrows. They come in bundles of 20, I believe. Yep. Alright, so 20 arrows is 1 gold piece, 3 pounds. Add that into his inventory. Alright, now that we have some equipment, we'll go back to AC. So the armor bonus is 5. Shield bonus is 2. So that puts us up to 10, 15, 16, 17, 19 AC. 19 AC at level 1. Alright, now for the tricky part. We'll go to the back character sheet and we will go to feats for now. Since I'm a human fighter, I have 3 feats at level 1. For new players, I do recommend toughness. It is 3 HP at level 1. And once you hit level 4, you start getting 1 HP per level. By level 1, that'll put us up to 16 health. Most enemies in the low CR range are going to be doing 1d4 damage, maybe 1d6. This is going to save our life. Next, power attack. Power attack is a simple feat. You take a -1 to hit, but gain +2 damage. So we're going to grab that real quick. Then weapon focus. Long swords specifically. That'll give us a +1 to hit with the long sword. So go back to the front page where we put the longsword down in weapons. So first off, 3 strength, 1 BAB, that's +4 to hit. The power attack is going to drop that down to a 3, but weapon focus is going to bump it back up to a 4. So a d20 plus 4 is what your hit rating is. The damage, I'm going to be using it one-handed mostly, so 1d8 plus 5. Now if I roll a 1 on attack, that's still 6 damage. Most enemies low level are going to have less than 10 HP, or about 10 HP. So if I roll above, like, let's say I roll average, I roll a 4, that's 9 damage. That will more than likely one-shot most low-level enemies. And bam, my character sheet is basically done. But since I also said that I'd be talking a little bit about the fighter class in general, let's look at what the fighter will get later on and make a little bit of sense of it. So level 2, you get your bonus speed again. Your BAB changes to a +2 instead of a +1. Your fort save goes up to a +3 instead of a +2. But you gain special ability Bravery. This gives you a +1 to will saves against fear effects, and another +1 every 4 levels beyond level 2. So at level 6 it will turn to a +2, level 10 +3, level 14 +4, level 18 +5. Now let's say we level up again, BAB is going to keep going up 1 per level. But at level 3, our reflex and will save both go up by 1. And we gain armor training. So armor training, what this does is you reduce the armor check penalty of the armor by 1. And increase the maximum dexterity by 1 as well. This is absolutely amazing. Because heavy armor, like I said before, like a full plate, has a 0 modifier. It now has a 1. The armor check penalty is also very, very, very harsh. Armor check, as I said before, it will lower your ability to be dexterous, if that's a word. So like your acrobatics, if you're wearing heavy armor, you take a negative to whatever your armor says it does. So same thing with like ride, swim. Swim is pretty bad. If you're wearing heavy armor and you try to swim with like let's say you have a -8 armor check, my character with no points in the swim would have a -5 on my roll. So let's say I need a 15 to stay afloat. I have to roll literally 20 just to not drown. So this is why armor training is so good. Then it also increases every 4 levels after. So 7, 11, and 15. Up to a maximum of +4. In addition, a fighter can also move as normal speed while wearing medium armor. At 7th level, hit normal speed wearing heavy armor. So at 7th level, so alright, I said before the scale mail is going to drop us down to 20. Once you hit level 3, you go back up to 30. This is absolutely amazing. We'll skip ahead to level 5, weapon training. You get to select a group of weapons like light blades, heavy blades, axes, bows, etc. The list will be on there too. You gain a +1 bonus on attack and damage rolls. Attack being your ability to make the hit connect, as I mentioned before. And then every 4 levels after, level 9, level 13, level 17, each one of those goes up by another 1. In addition, a fighter also adds any combat maneuver checks with this as a bonus to combat maneuver checks, as long as he's wielding the weapon of that choice and the weapon can do it. So that's pretty huge. And overall, that's mostly just what a fighter gets. It's not until level 20 where you get weapon mastery. The last thing to mention is there are certain feats that are fighter only, such as weapon specialization. Gives you a +2 to damage using that specific weapon. Greater weapon focus. You get another +1 to hit. Then greater weapon specialization, another +2. So if you want to focus purely on one weapon, you can get massive amounts of damage. If you do this, by the way, I highly recommend using a weapon that you can find very commonly. Longsword is going to be very common in bigger cities. Guards are going to be using them along with spears, and military will use them. So that's the main reason why I picked it. Plus it can be used with one hand or two. But like I said, they're going to have a ton of feats, 3 at level 1, then 1 every level afterwards. So feats, once again, you're going to have to look these up. There's so many feats. Not all of them combat, some of them are social, some of them do small bonuses. And of course there's always class specific feats. But anyway, this was just a rough overview of the fighter, where to put things on your sheet, and kind of like an example of building it. Yep, thank you, and have a good night.